Hi guys, and Leon here, and welcome to another video. Today we'll be looking at crafting in Guild Wars 2. There's 8 different types of crafting, and you can have 2 active at any time. There's Armorsmith, which is used to make heavy armor, Artificer for magic weapons, Chef for foodstuffs, Huntsman for wooden weapons and firearms, Jeweler for things like earrings, necklaces, etc., the Leather Workers for medium armor, Tailor for light armor, and Weaponsmith for metal weapons. But before we look into how you go about actually making those items, we need to know how to get the materials used to make them. In Guild Wars 2 there's some very different methods of that compared to other games. Rather than gathering professions, everyone in Guild Wars 2 can collect everything. In order to do this, however, you'll need to purchase the necessary tools for the job. Many of the vendors around the world sell them, but if you're ever in doubt, your trainer in one of the capital cities will certainly sell them for you. So when you're out in the world and looking for items, if you have a quick look on the minimap, you'll be able to spot the various ores, nodes, etc., so you can actually know where they are easily. In order to mine ore, all you have to do is walk towards it with your pick equipped and mine it. In order to harvest some items, all you need to do is walk towards it, use your action button, and you'll collect them. And the same goes for chopping down a tree. All you need to do is activate it with an axe equipped, and you'll do that. Trying to find the trainers is quite easy. All you have to do is get your map open, and then if you have a look for the various symbols of that profession, so in my case it's armorsmithing and weaponsmithing, and they're in all major cities.
You must visit more often.
You will have noticed that we weren't able to collect all the types of materials that you would need just from those 3 methods. There are leather and cloth that you do need to get elsewhere, but they're still quite simple. All you need to do is purchase a salvage kit, which you can get pretty much anywhere from quite a lot of the vendors throughout the world, and definitely from any other training vendors. All you need to do is double click on the salvage kit, with this is a basic one, on the items that say salvage items, and then it will create various things. Like in this instance I got some leathers, and then if we try on this other jagged metal we get some iron ore. So depending on what they are, you'll be able to make those various bits of materials. Rather than independently leveling up your gathering skills like in many other MMOs, in this one it's your tools that you have to improve, and they're what actually allow you to get better materials from the world. So if we have a look at the sickles, for example, you start off with the basic copper sickle here, and then that will get you low level items that are basically from level 1 to 15, say, leveling areas. If you move up to the iron sickle, that will get you, which you have to be level 10 in order to use, that will get you sort of materials from then onwards, and then a little later you need the steel, and so on and so forth, till you're on the dark steel, and then the mithril, and then it goes onwards. And that obviously applies to all the various gatherings, including the salvage kits, where you need to get better salvage kits in order to get successful salvaging from the items. And the high level items, the higher level one you'll need. And as you can see in this karma funds, the price goes up accordingly. But you can buy these for just in-game money as well, instead of karma points from a few vendors around the place. So now that you've gathered a few of your materials and you want to actually start getting down to creating something, all you have to do is find a crafting station, and they look, in my case, like giant anvils, and if you just walk up to them you'll see the little icon pop up saying the weaponsmithing station, and then your activation button to use them. The default is F, but I've got it to Z key because I have a little strange key bindings.
traveler.
Once you're there, you'll be faced with a couple of tabs. Your discovery tab, which I'll explain more later, your production tab, which is your basic where you go to create the items, your bank, where you can put various items in order to store, as well as your collections, where all your items that if you've been gathering in the world and you've actually clicked on the options and deposit all collectibles to get all your things like your copper ore, see, they all go straight into there. One thing you will have to note, unfortunately, is I haven't been able to figure out a way in order to get all my items when I'm looking at the production to come from the bank. I have to actually put them into my bags in order to use them, which is a little bit of a hassle, but it's something you can quite easily work around. So now if we jump into a little bit of crafting, I'll take out some very basic materials of mine, which are the copper ore as well as the lumps of tin, which you actually have to buy from the weaponsmith himself. So he's got a little bit of business on the side there.
Farewell.
If you go into the crafting station, the first page that opens up is your production page. What we're going to be doing is quite simply creating some of the very basic materials like the bronze ingot that you need in order to actually start crafting some items. So once you're on this page, all you have to do is click on what you want to create. I only have materials at the moment to make the bronze ingots. If you want to check what you have materials for without having to scroll up and down the list, you can just click on one of the filters here and that will show you. I have plenty in my bank, but for the purpose of this we'll be just dealing with the guide, we'll be dealing with the very basics. When you want to make an item, you can choose how many items you actually want to create or craft all. In this circumstance I only have enough for one, so we'll just craft all anyway. When you see you've done that, the materials go into your bag. You also, if you notice, get experience for doing this, and that does depend on your level and everything as well. As you can see, the fact that I've just made one pile of bronze ingots has opened up several other options for me in order to make various bits and pieces that I can then use. So these are all parts, and as you can see on this one, bronze spearhead used to craft spears, and they're components, as you can see, to go towards other items. One thing I think that's worth noting when you're crafting something simple, sort of the very basic materials like this green wood plank, and you choose to say craft 6 of them, when you actually craft those items, as you can see, each time you craft them it speeds up, so that means it's long gone are the days where you have to wait 20 or 30 minutes like in World of Warcraft when you want to turn sort of various items into other items for ages. Some of the most important things you might want to consider crafting are actually the inscriptions, and these are used for various other professions as well, which are all indicated on the items, and you can use them to help you discover various new recipes which we're discussing now. Creating these crafting inscriptions use special crafting materials that I think are known as fine crafting materials, and if you look closely on them it indicates what levels you can use those items in terms of your crafting levels. So this bone chip here requires no item levels, but if we compare that to something like this tiny fang, artificers you need to be level 50 and leatherworkers 25. So just keep that in mind when you see them around the world, that you will need to be that certain level before you can actually use them. Once you want to start creating actual items, you will need to then make the component parts for them. So if we have a look at making the mighty bronze spear, we need a vial of weak blood, a large green haft, and a bronze spearhead. So we have these two items here, but we still need a bronze spearhead. So if we head into our list of component parts here, then we can find the bronze spearhead and craft one of those. So again, we get experience for doing that, and then that opens up the ability to actually create that spear. So if we click on the spear, we've got all the materials here, as you can see in the brackets, how many of each of them we have, and then we can finally craft one. As you can see, that's the first time we've made one, so we get bonus experience as well. So once you've gathered enough sort of various bits of materials, you might want to see what you can actually discover from using those materials. So as you can see, I've got a few things that I've collected and created over the last sort of couple of minutes, and if we try to discover something, which is in the discovery page, which is the little anvil on the top left of the screen, we double click on these items and they go into here, and if you click on any of those items and it comes up with a tick, that means there's 8 possible items known with the recipe, or it doesn't mean there's 8, but it shows there's 8 on this item. And if we reset that and take another item, there's 12 possible items known with this ingredient here. So what we're trying to do here is actually discover some whole new recipes and items that we can actually make new bits from and turn our components into those pieces. So if we take our bronze shield backing as well as our bronze shield boss, and then we throw in a little malign green inscription, we can then create something. So if you click on the craft, you craft it, you get whatever ingredients you would have got for creating that item, as well as that experience doubled for discovering it. If you notice as well, our production line lit up, and that was because we've discovered a new item, and that would be in the shield here. So we've now discovered the malign bronze shield, and as you can see, there are the 3 ingredients that we used to discover it. I certainly recommend trying to discover as many things as you can with the few materials you have, because that way you can maximize your experience, as well as then you'll be able to vary the items that you have if you wish to sell them on the auction house or anything like that as well, or then break them down with the salvage to try and make new things. As I'm still starting out on the crafting side of things, I haven't got any yet, but if you were going to have items that were too difficult for you to create at your level, they would show up as red. These orange ones mean that you're going to get sort of max experience from them in terms when you do create them. If you had green ones, it means you get less, and so on, like in other MMOs with your leveling the crafting. All in all, the crafting system in this game is quite different to many of the others. It has a similar feel, but at the same time it is fairly unique, and I think that makes it quite interesting to do. I'm level 54 and I've spent some time sort of trying to get used to it, and that's why I'm still so low level, because I've been focusing on leveling up my character rather than the crafting. But I'm certainly going to be going back now and actually doing that, because as you've seen, it gives you pretty good experience as well, so it isn't something that will take away from your leveling experience. It can actually help towards it. Well, I hope this helped. If you have any questions, as always, do comment below and I'll answer them as soon as possible. And again, thank you for watching, and bye!